Hello, good morning from Sydney, Australia. It's Vivian again going live in this group to have the interview session. This is our fifth session. I'm so grateful for those of you who say yes for this interview session to share different stories, different knowledge. So just let me make sure we are going live. Do comment below if you can see me live and say hi if you are joining us. So let me just check. Yes, I'm live now. Okay. Hi, Sal. How are you? Sal is online. Thank you so much for joining us live, Sally. Sally, who did the live with us last week. Kudos to her. She is being so courageous and brave, who also did her first Facebook live last weekend. So today, I am so blessed to have one of my big sister to say yes to join us live today to share with us her golden nugget, her wisdom. Hey, Kina, good morning. How are you? So Joanne, who is originally from Singapore, but now she lives in Melbourne. I first met her in Sydney when we were in one of the conference in Sydney. At the time, I was someone who was very timid and very shy, but she was so kind. She was so authentic. She shared with me her journey and her knowledge on how to build a home-based business at the time. So I felt that she is someone who is so clever. So she's just like a very successful corporate lady to me. So she's also a lot for a lot of us in this group, for a lot of us who are who cross paths with her. To me, I feel that she's someone who have a very strong mindset. She's a mindset mentor for a lot of us. So without it was saying that during this pandemic time, I would say that a lot of us who face different challenges or facing with different changes in our life. There can be things that we never share, but then today, we are also grateful to have you here, Joanne. So without further ado, I will bring her on the screen. I'll let her share with you her stories. So let's put our virtual hand clap together to welcome Joanne from Melbourne. There you go.
Hi, hello Vivian, hello everyone. Oh my goodness, it's so good to be a part of this community. And thank you, Vivian, for the very, very kind introduction. And you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right that the first time I met you, you were very timid, you're very quiet. But I really, really want to say that I'm so proud to have been a part of your journey, even if I'm just cheering you on and witnessing how you have grown and developed into the beautiful person that you are today, you know, the leader that you are, not only in your own family, but, you know, in this community, and just you've blossomed. I think that's the best word that comes to my mind. You've blossomed, and I'm sure we will see great things about you. It's just the beginning, actually.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
So first, can you please introduce yourself to the rest of the community? Some of them might not know you, but yeah, if you can share a little bit about yourself.
A big hello and shout out to everyone who is online right now. Hi, Kina. And also Sally, and there are quite a few of you who are on. Thank you so much for being here. I don't know, I may or may not know who you are, but you know, as what we said, that once you're in the Jeunesse family, you're part of the Jeunesse family, no matter where you are, which team you're on. So it's a huge privilege for me to be here today. Thank you for the trust and the opportunity to share what I have learned in my Jeunesse journey, but more importantly for me, what I have learned living the 46 years of my life. Yes, I'm 46 years old. So I am a big sister, a big operative word being big. a basic tattoo, Vivian. And how I got involved in Jeunesse is it's really not very different from what a lot of people actually experienced. I've always grown up in a very traditional Chinese family. So you work hard, you study hard, and eventually you get a good job, you get married, and hopefully, your life is smooth sailing from that point, which never is quite the case, as we now know. A little virus can turn everybody's lives upside down. And I got to know Jeunesse through a neighbor back in Singapore. And she is also currently, actually, I don't know what she is right now. She is definitely a diamond at least. She might have become a double diamond already. And she was very kind to introduce me to the products. So I started taking Reserve and AMPM after I gave birth. And I lost a lot of weight during that time very naturally. And I was quite surprised to see that. And being someone who's more intellectually driven, I started to dig more into the products. And she started to introduce me to events, and I went to the Hong Kong. I think that was the 5th or the 6th Jeunesse convention in Hong Kong at that time, and it is something that really opened up my mind. And I started to learn more about the business. And a few years later, 2.5 years doing it part-time and just learning the business from the side, I quit my full-time job as a corporate executive and decided to build Jeunesse full-time, also to focus on my son. It was a vehicle for me to have that life where I could focus on my child and also be productive financially. So it worked really well for 4 or 5 years. And in fact, being a part of Jeunesse, building this global business was part of the plan that allowed me to come and live in Australia. So I moved to Australia 5 years ago, and it is something that it really was a dream come true, and I am now living such a different life. I'm really grateful for my experience in Jeunesse that gave me the option to think bigger, to encourage me to dream bigger as well. So I've been to both sides. I've spent 17, 20 years, in fact, in the corporate world. And I've also been on this global journey to become an entrepreneur and to become a better human being by serving others. So it's been pretty good. Right now, I am a stay-at-home mom. I was working. I was back in the corporate world about a year, and then COVID came along, and I've now parted ways with my previous employer. But you know what? This time really gave me a time to really think about what it meant, everything that has happened. And I realized that we are very, very blessed. People like us who got to know platforms like Jeunesse, we are very blessed that we have an option to live life on our own terms, because anything can shake your life up. You might think you have a secure job, whatever it is that you're doing is very safe and solid, but you never know what happens. And it's good to have an option. Good to have an option where you can be in control of your lives. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Well, yeah, that's very true. A lot of news nowadays saying that people lost their jobs. It's just a different things that happen. It's people were thinking that they can go back to their normal life. I don't think it's going to be ever going to be normal again. So like you say, it's always good to have an option, a plan B in our life, because we really don't know when is this thing going to strike us again in the future. So again, for those of you who join us live, thank you so much for joining this interview session number 5 that we have today. So Joanne, again, she is a very authentic person whom I always look up to. She always have a very beautiful smile. I always adore her. So today she have something to do with how to deal with changes and challenges, and she's going to share with you guys some stories of her. Probably you have heard of this before or no. So I'll let Joanne who share with you the rest of the session. I will go to the background so that if you need me up here, I will go up. So she got a very I'll say a very she's well prepared today. Our previous session, I didn't really do much preparation. Today she's going to do much of the talking, so I'll let you do the rest, Joanne.
Thank you. I no, thank you, Viv, for that. And the way I prepared the materials is really, it's supposed to be interactive. It will feel like I'm talking a lot, but what I like to do is to facilitate a conversation. See,
Yes.
one of the
So
things that I've yeah.
for
So
those of
anyone
you,
who has any questions, I think that's
yeah,
what Viv is probably going to say,
yes,
because while I'm running my presentation slides, I won't be able to see your comments. So I will have to
mhm,
rely on Vivian to
yeah,
stop me anytime. If anyone has any questions or comments that you want to bring up, please put them into the live comments box, and then we can definitely respond to you when there's an opportunity. So one of the things I have learned through my life, as well as having done very different roles, and also through COVID, is that there is no such thing as one size fits all solution. No such thing.
mhm,
So today I thought I would like to I when Viv asked me to get involved in a Facebook Live with you guys, and I thought, how can I contribute? How can I empower the community, right? How can I make a difference to you guys? And I thought one of the best way probably is for me to share a little bit about what I have learned in my life about building empowering mindsets. Okay. And I thought that might be something that could make a difference to you. So if you allow me, I'm going to pull up my slides right now. Viv, please tell me if you can see my slides.
okay, yeah, I'll add that to the stream. Yeah, they should be able to see your slides now.
Okay, so today, this is all for you. And I hope I am true to my intention. Empowering you in times of change. A lot of times, especially at the times like this, the change is very acute. The change is involuntary. You didn't choose this. None of us choose to be in a time like this. It is painful for some people. It's very distressing, but it's unfortunately touched many, many people's lives in ways that can be very dislocating. People are feeling very displaced. So for me, well, I've given you a story about me. I was a mom. That's my son over there. He just turned 8. And that was me. That's actually a picture of me giving one of the presentations in Singapore when I was doing a Jeanette's presentation. And yes, I was a corporate executive for several years. So for me, one of the most important thing about living, not just surviving, but thriving in times of change is about mindset. It all starts with mindset. Why do I say that? And I think I'm not the only one who says that. So I'm not an expert here. I'm just trying to distill from my life experience to share what I think is the most important when it comes to dealing with changes. We're always dealing with changes, small, big, whether you want it or you don't want it. There are changes in our life, and the result of our life is a result of how we respond, how we choose to respond. And the actions that we take, they don't just happen. They come from somewhere. They come from our thought processes, the way we look at this world, our perspective, our worldviews. And that, in collective terms, is what we call a mindset. Now, the important thing about the mindset I have realized is that mindset is dynamic. We are our thoughts, our beliefs, our attitudes, that makes up our mindset. But that in itself is not static. It continuously changes, not even year to year, on a day-to-day basis. One day you could be feeling like, I can't do this. The next day you could be feeling like you are Superwoman, you're Superman, and you can, take on the world. So your mindset is something that is constantly moving. I call it dynamic. So the collection of your thoughts, your beliefs are what most people would notice are simply thoughts that are repeated. Thoughts that you keep thinking become your beliefs. And your attitudes, how do you perceive certain things? How do you choose to be a certain way? That's your attitude. So your thoughts, your belief, your attitude makes up the mindset. It gives you how you think, how you feel, and what you choose to do. And collectively, this will give you a set of results in your life. Our life is a result of all the thoughts, the beliefs, and attitudes that we have, that we carry with ourselves. And the thing here is, it is not a one direction. It actually is a flow back, as a feedback loop, where what we think, what we feel, what we do, the outcomes in our life inform us of how to think, what beliefs work, what they don't work, and what attitudes will work or not. So it goes back up. So it is a continuous loop. So that's why I say the mindset is dynamic. However, when we say the mindset is dynamic, there are some people who make references to, I have been told, oh, you shouldn't be thinking that way. And that's, you should have a positive attitude, not a negative attitude. You should. The way I look at it, there is no such thing as a good mindset bad mindset, because good and bad are relative to everyone. Everyone has a different definition of what's good, what's bad. But there is such a thing called empowering or disempowering mindset. And by that, I mean a mindset that gives you power or not. So that's the only thing that you have control over. How you think, how you feel, and all the attitudes and beliefs that you have, that is what is going to give you or take away power from you. So which one do you have? Now, there's a lady called Carol Dweck. She's a mindset author, and she studied mindsets of thousands of people in her research over decades. And this is what she came up with. There are generally two types of mindset. It's either fixed or it's growth. What does that mean? When you have a fixed mindset, your belief is that you are born with the qualities. Your qualities are carved in stone. They don't necessarily change. Circumstances change, but you don't normally change. But the growth mindset, on the other hand, it believes that your qualities can be cultivated. It can be nurtured. And a person's true potential is unlimited as well as unknowable. You really don't know what your potential is. So the question is, if you look at all the attitudes and mindsets and beliefs that you have, are you more a fixed kind of mindset person, or are you more a growth mindset kind of person? My guess is, if you are in Jeunesse, you are somebody who is looking beyond what your life has given you, your circumstances have kept you in. You're looking at creating more. And I would say that you probably belong more in the growth mindset. And that's great. That is absolutely great, because we need that to thrive in our life. Now, I have news for you. The bad news, and there's good news. I'll start with the bad news. The bad news is, if you have a disempowering mindset, it can keep you stuck and limited. The good news is mindsets can be changed. See, a lot of people might think that once I have a mindset, I'm stuck with it, or I can't change it. And that's not true. At so many levels, that's not true. For one, from a neuroscience perspective, you definitely can reprogram yourself, your beliefs, your thoughts, your attitudes, all of that. Remember, that's what mindset is made up of. Can you change your mind? Yes, you can. Can you change your attitude? Yes, you can. Can you change your beliefs? Absolutely. So that means you have the power to really take control of the mindset that you are in. The power lies in you becoming aware of the mindset you have and being responsible for it. Nobody can tell you what mindset to have. So that's why I'm not going to tell you, oh, you should be thinking this way. You should, what you're thinking is good or not good, bad for you. I'm not going to say any of those. When you work with me, when I work with people as a coach, I never tell people, do this, do that, because there's no one size fits all solution for everyone. But you can be aware of the choices that you're making, and you can be responsible for that. And very important, this is something that when you've gone through enough changes in your life, when you've gone through several crises in your life, as I have, I've gone through 2 divorces, I've gone through a car crash and survived. I've almost lost my son in the process of that. There's a lot of things that shows up in life when a crisis is thrown your way. They are absolute lessons that you can learn from. We have the power to invent an infinite number of mindsets. You can create an infinite number of mindsets. There's no 1, 2, 10, infinite. And you can actually move freely amongst them. Now, the last point is so important, because most people think you have one mindset, you get stuck with it. Whether it's a good mindset or not, you can get stuck with it. You can have a mindset that serves you well in the beginning, and it actually could turn into something that you become so comfortable with, it prevents you from growing, and you get stuck with it, and you don't get anything from it anymore. It doesn't serve you anymore. So it is possible. But you can invent different mindsets, and you can move from negative to positive, and also back to negative again. But the power is that you can move. That's the mobility. You can choose to move from a negative one to a positive one anytime, when you're aware and you take responsibility for the mindset that you choose. So in this crisis, I thought about what I can share with you today. And I thought, in this crisis, let's talk about what exactly it is that we can talk about, we can take on in our lives. Now, just in our lives, you can put this also in the context of your Jeunesse journey. whether you are a consumer, whether you're somebody who's looking to build this as a plan B, or you're already definitely doing this as something, this is your life mission. Wherever you are in your stage of your Jeunesse journey, there is opportunity in this COVID crisis. The first thing you can do is you can examine the mindsets and the mental frameworks that you have. This is a time for you to really take stock and really start asking yourself, what are some of the thoughts, the beliefs, the attitudes that I have? One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is to really slow down, take some time out, and write down what you notice about your own thoughts. Very, very often we live our lives unaware. We are operating from automatic default systems that run us in the background, and we don't even know it. We don't even know that's what's happening because it feels natural. The natural part is simply you have stopped looking and being aware of what your thought processes are. Now, this is a time you can examine those thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes. You can identify the ones that serve you and the ones that do not serve you. As Vivian said just now, we are looking at a new normal. There's nothing about this life that we have right now that looks remotely like the one we used to have. And the good news, and to some people is the bad news, is life will never be the same again. Whether you like it or not, life has changed. You have changed. The world has changed. Whether you like it or not, you're not going to just simply go back to the life that we had. We are going to create a new future for you. You are going to create a new future for you. You are going to be the one to define what a new normal looks like for you. So you need to know for yourself, not for anybody else, for yourself, what is the mindset? What are some of your thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs that actually serve you, keep you strong, and keep you positive? And what are the ones that no longer serve you? And then when you have examined and you're aware and you can see it for yourself, these are the things that are in my space, you can choose. You can choose consciously. You can choose deliberately. I like this, I don't like that. Instead of just letting the automatic programs run you. And choice is a function of awareness. Until you know what you have, it's like going into an ice cream shop, right? If you're somebody who has always eaten vanilla like me, I love vanilla. You go into the ice cream shop and all I want is vanilla, I will go straight to the counter and order vanilla. But have you ever been in a gelato shop before? Like beautiful gelato shop where there are like 10, 20 flavors. There's a sorbet section and there's ice cream section and there's something else. And it's only when you're aware that, wow, I actually have 20 flavors to choose from, that you begin to have choices that you didn't know were there before. So when you examine your mindsets, you identify the ones that you serve you, that don't serve you, and you start to look at how you could choose the ones that actually will serve you. Now, a lot of people ask me, Joanne, how do I know how to choose? At the end of the day, choose the ones that give you more power. That would be my suggestion. Choose the one that let you feel freer. Choose the one that gives you more freedom in your life. That's the mindset that's going to serve you. That's the choice that's going to serve you. Why would you choose something that limits you? Why would you choose something that limits your freedom? So this is, for me, the most intuitive, the simplest criteria that I could offer you. Think about it. Look at everything in your life from that perspective. Does this empower me? Empowerment means giving more power. Does this give me more power? Does this give me more freedom in my life? And that's what I did when I chose to give up my job to come into Jeunesse as a full-time business. For me, I could have stayed in my job. It was a 5-figure salary. I'm quite good at what I do, and I've been doing it quite well. And the job I had was very comfortable. I just became a mom. I really didn't need to have a massive change in my life or lifestyle. But I chose Jeunesse because it gave me the possibility of having more power and more freedom in my life. It gave me the possibility of building a life on my own terms. So I took it. That was mine. Mindset at that time. More power, more freedom to me. Great. Let me give this a shot. So I took that opportunity. Now I want to go through I'm going to ask, the next few slides are all actually series of questions. And I want to leave this with you. And I love to hear your comments. And what I'm going to do is, because I want to see your comments, I'm going to actually get out of this big screen mode, because I can't see what you are writing if I stay in this mode. And you can still see the slide. So you can still see the questions that I have prepared for you. So here we go. Now, your mindset about your external environment. Look, a lot of people this is what I'm hearing, but this may be what you want to ask yourself. Are you one of these people? Is this your current mindset at this moment? Does any of these statements feel like that's who you are, resonates with you? Are you saying to yourself things like, I'm a victim here. This is so unfair. I didn't choose this. Why is it happening to me? There's nothing I can do about this. It's so frustrating. I can't do this. This is too painful. This is too hard. Or you're looking at someone else to fix it for you. The government needs to get out of it, need to get us out of this. Why aren't they doing more? Why aren't they? And, of course, the perennial question, in the face of uncertainty in the current situation, when will life be normal again? So I want you to take a moment to really think about where you are as far as this crisis is concerned. You, the person Joanne, the person Vivian, the person Sally, and whoever else that you are, how are you behaving, thinking, feeling in this crisis? If you have a piece of paper, or if you've already done this before, it will be useful to write down whatever comes to you, because when you write down, it becomes more real. For me, every life, life in itself is constantly evolving. It isn't fixed. There's no such thing as a fixed life, a fixed you. Everything is an evolution. So for me, how have I been dealing with this crisis? For me, I feel that I want power and I want freedom. So I'm not giving all of this away to other people. Your mindset is a moment by moment choice. It's not something you decide and then you hang on to it for dear life, for the rest of your life. It is something where you can choose moment by moment. It's a muscle that you build, that you choose what gives you power. For me, this is a time to reflect, to reconnect, to realign, and to reinvent. And you can take that as something that, you don't have to take this. This is my mindset right now. You don't have to take it on. If you didn't take it, but try it on as if you've gone shopping and I'm showing you this dress or this shirt or this piece of clothing and say, try it on. Put it on and see if it fits. How does it feel? Does it give you more power? Does it give you more freedom? Because this is the time for you to lead yourself. That's how I see it. There's no one in this world who can decide how you live your life for you, except you. So for me, I choose to lead myself. And this is how I get through times of change, whether it was being laid off three times in my career, and, getting divorced twice, not once, the car accident, almost losing my son, all of these changes, all of these times of tests and challenges, I choose to lead myself. And I choose to tell myself, I got this. I may not have all the answers, but I got this. And that's what self-leadership is about. And I want to talk about what it is not before we talk about what it is. Self-leadership is not a title. It's not a label that other people give you. It doesn't mean that you have to become a diamond, a double diamond, or whatever diamond it is before you lead yourself. You are your leader. It's not a title that someone gives you. It does not mean that you need to have your answers all the time. You don't have answers. We don't. Nobody has it. Nobody has all the answers all the time. You don't need to get it right all the time. You don't need to be having it together all the time. You don't need to put on a brave front and pretend that you have all the answers. You don't pretend who you are not. You don't pretend to be who you are not. Most of all, you're not a victim to this crisis or to any change in your life, whether it is something you choose or not. You're not a victim, because as a victim, you give the power to people outside of you, external of you, circumstances outside of you, to dictate who you should be, who you should or should not do, and what your place is in life. Why would you give away that power? You are the only one who can decide all of that for you. So what is self-leadership? How do you lead yourself? Self-leadership is about the everyday results in your life. It's not one time. You're not being a leader in your life, like, and just decide on one thing. It's the everyday things. Everyday things. You are taking ownership of your life. You create the answers in your life for you. I can tell you what I think based on my experience of living my life and working with a lot of people, what works for you. But I can't tell you how to live your life. You are the only one who can create the answers that is meaningful for you. You need to have the courage to face yourself honestly. You must be willing to trust and back yourself. So important. Not just in Joanne's journey, but your life. You need to trust and back yourself. You got this. You got this. No matter how difficult it is now, whether in Joanne's, you're hitting a wall, whether it is in life, you're feeling out of control, nothing is in control, you have to back yourself that you've got what it takes to come out of this. You need to love yourself enough to keep nurturing a better life. To me, there's no such thing as the best life. No such thing. Because the idea of best means that it's a destination you arrive, and it's almost like, my life, I have 100-point mark. If I score full marks, 100 points, that's the life. No, life is unlimited. You are unlimited. You don't know what you can do. You got to keep nurturing a better you, a better life, moment by moment, day by day, second by second. All of this is an inside job. All of it, everything. Whatever I'm telling you right now, if it opens something in you that allows you to start looking how you can have a better life for yourself, great. If it doesn't serve you, drop it. It doesn't matter. But what's important is that this is really about you knowing who you are. It's a self-awareness process. You taking responsibility for your life and your choices, self-responsibility, and then having the discipline to really do what's best for you in that moment, and just keep getting better and better and better. Same for your business. Take it into Joanne's, your journey, wherever you are, and ask yourself those very same questions. Be aware of what you are, where you are, and how, where you want to get to, all the goals, and where you are, where you want to get to, all your goals. What can you be responsible for? Before you become a certain rank, maybe all you're responsible for is your own actions. What can you do to build a team? And once you have a team, you have responsibility to them. What can you do to empower them? Discipline, that's something that we need, all of us need in our lives. So you get to define your new normal. So what is working in your life or your business right now? What is not working? What is serving you? What is not serving you? What matters to you? What can you be grateful for? How can it be better? Whether in good times or bad times, that question is so relevant. How can it be better? What is the future that you want to bring about? Who do you want to be in this new normal? Who are you being right now? Are you being somebody who is low energy and, disempowered? It's okay to be that. It's okay to be that. I want to give a shout out to Jess. I loved your video yesterday in a group where you said that you were feeling not great, but you choose to do the video because you wanted to share with everyone that it's okay to not feel great, because you can choose to be a little better, a little better. It doesn't mean that if you feel downright shitty, the next moment you have to be up here in terms of energy and I go, wow, rah, rah. No, life doesn't happen like that. When you are here, do whatever it takes to move yourself one step higher, just one. If you're angry about something, allowing yourself the chance to be angry, and the next level is moving on to being able to release, feeling a little bit of relief. That's where you want to get to. Every small step that moves you forward into a better space, that's what's going to empower you. Who will show up when this is over? Who is that person who's going to come out of this tunnel? Who is that person? Are you going to look back and say, you know what, I was proud of who I was when this happened? Or are you going to say, I wish I did it differently? Now, what do you need to thrive? You have everything. everything you need to thrive. You don't need to look outside of you, but you can definitely be the leader for yourself. So lead by the choices that you make. Have compassion for yourself. You will feel down, not just in this crisis, but all times in your life. You will go up and down and up and down. It just happens. Have compassion for the times when you are down there and pick yourself up. Pick yourself up. You don't need to wait for anything to happen. Pick yourself up. It's a choice you make. Nurture you, nurture your body, your mind, your spirit. So important. We are so lucky that in Jeunesse, we have such wonderful products that allow us to take care of our body well. And when your body is responding and functioning in an optimal level, guess what? Your mind and the spirit have the best chance to keep growing and expanding. The choices that you make as far as where you give your energy or where you drive your energy from, choose life-giving energy, choose hope, choose love, choose goodness. In a time where there is so much uncertainty, hold on to the things that are strong for you. This community, for example, lean into it. There are people here who love and care about each other that I have never seen outside of this community. Embrace new possibilities. Keep an open mind and heart. Where you are right now doesn't have to define where you're going to be in 2, 3, 5 years' time. You could be someone who is just looking at the products because you love the products. But what about using that to help more people? If you've enjoyed it, if you've benefited for it, why are you not sharing? So this is the Zen, there's the Zen community, the Zen movement going on. There's a Jeunesse movement globally. So take that, move from one phase to another. If that is going to give you more power, going to give you more freedom, more options in life, why not? At least look at it. Keep an open heart, keep an open mind. You are making choices that serve you. Don't let what other people think stop you from making choices that serve you. Believe in yourself. Even if that's all you ever do in your life, you believe in yourself. That is you leading you in the most powerful way possible. In ending, I'm going to leave you with this slide. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. This is a quote from famous poet Rumi, and I find that it truly is a timeless classic, because in times of change, when we're all trying to get pieces of control all over our lives, every time, every day, sometimes the sooner you realize the power doesn't come outside of you. Nothing outside of you is going to give you the power you need to live your life. You need to start looking at how to generate power from inside of you. Start with that. And that's going to give you what is going to give you the most power in your life, regardless of what happens and what change you're dealing with. And there you go. That's what I prepared in terms of slide. I hope that was helpful.
Wow. Yes, I was having goosebumps, and I took few pages of notes as well. That is so good. Every time you share with us, there's lots of things that we have to write down. I really like the last quotes you shared. We have to change ourselves. That's the things that we have the power of control with. The only thing, I listened to podcast by Rob Dyer. I'm not sure you heard of him before. He is really good. The other day he was sharing that everything is from internal, nothing external.
Thank you. Amen to
That's
that.
what. Yes, I really like that. Ever since I'm in this journey, prior to this journey, I know nothing about personal development. I know nothing about coaching. I didn't even know what's coach. I only thought that it's only football coach, basketball coach, but there's actually life coach about personal development. And the biggest thing that I learned in this journey is taking full responsibility of your life. That's how I get to where I am today.
Fantastic.
That's how we get all the perseverance, how we keep going. So I really like what you're sharing today. I see one of the Diane is so good. I believe Diane is taking lots of notes as well. She stayed here. That's her long comments here for you. Did you see that there?
Yeah, yeah. I can see the
Yeah,
comments now. I'm back on the comment
okay.
box. Yeah.
Yeah, it is so. Stella was saying that amazing presentation,
Thank you,
powerful
Sally.
and
I'm glad you
yeah,
enjoyed it.
yes, I believe a lot of people out there should hear these messages, especially during this hard time. People out there might be having they keep things to themselves, but listen to you. I really love that you are willing to come on here to share this message with a lot of us. We need this message, especially during this hard time. Again, for those of you who join us live today, thank you so much for joining us live. Joanne is someone who is really authentic and vulnerable. It took so much courage for us to be vulnerable, and you are I amaze you for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I do apologize that this is going on a little longer than what you guys would normally do in a Facebook Live. I hope that was useful. And, I'm in a group, and if there's any one of you who wants to have a chat about it, or if I can support you in any way, feel free to reach out.
Yeah,
Right?
I
Feel
saw
free
that
to
you
reach
have a page as well. If they wanted to follow you or get some wisdom from you, what is the page that they can follow?
Oh, I'm going to type it and put it on. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, I think something authentic, right? Yeah, I saw it
Yeah,
the other day.
access your authentic power.
Yeah,
That's really what it is. At the end of the day, guys, we are the only ones. We the most important relationship we have with anyone in this world is ourselves.
Mhm,
If we are relying on other people to provide us with answers, we can wait till the cows come home.
mhm,
You have all the answers in you. Trust me. I mean, I never thought when a car accident happened that I would become the person that I am 5 years later that I am right now. If you almost lost your child, I mean, I remember the night when there's so many things about the car accident that on hindsight, it's such a blessing, such a blessing. And when it happened, it was obviously, I will not wish it on anyone
mhm,
to watch your child fight for his life and knowing that you put him in that position. That's not anything I want for anyone. But to have
mhm,
gone through that is I'm a testament that you have everything you need to thrive. Everything. You don't need anyone to tell you what to do, but you must believe in yourself. You must back yourself. You must take responsibility for your life.
mhm,
Every choice you make makes up what your life is about. You got to take hold of that and make it yours and make sure it is empowering you. If it's not empowering you, let it go. Let it go. If there's someone you haven't forgiven, if there's something you're still holding on to, a grudge, something that, years ago that happened that is upsetting you still, and every time you think about it, it upsets you, it's not empowering you, let it go. I know it sounds so simple, but if you don't begin the process of forgiveness and letting things go, you will never get to where you want to get to because you're carrying all this baggage, which is going to slow you down. But you have all you need. Everything you need is in you. Don't look externally. Everything you need is you. Yes, take
mhm.
responsibility for your own lives.
Yeah.
That means all the bad things too, guys. All the bad things that have happened,
Mhm,
it doesn't mean you're a bad person. Look, good people make bad choices. We do it all the time. I tell my son right now, it's my mantra to him, mistakes are our best friends. I even
mhm,
make him go, every time he makes a mistake, I say, yay, you made a mistake. He goes, I made a mistake. Now he's getting a little bit more enthusiastic. He's trying to get on board with that idea. Yes,
mhm,
are our best friends. Good people make bad choices too. So the question is, how do you begin to make healthy choices for you? Start with asking yourself, does this empower me? Does this give me more freedom? If it does, go for it. If it turned out to be a
mhm.
mistake, learn from it. There's nothing wrong with that. Just keep going. Give yourself the chance to live a better life moment by moment.
Wow. Give me, oh, I feel so touched with what you were sharing. Thank you so much for always so willing to share. Like I say, you're so authentic as always. And then For those of you who hear what John was saying, they're saying that sensational interview, and that's Sal and Diane here. Again, I feel so grateful to have you here today, our big sisters, Joanne. And if you want to have any question that you are not asking here, you may reach out to Joanne as well. I think she's more than happy to answer any question that you have. All right. So there you go, my friends. It's 45 minutes, a bit longer than usual, but I believe they are so great to have you, no matter 3 hours or 30 minutes. You always have so much wisdom to share. So we will hopefully get you on again to share with us a lot more of the mindset training in the future. So this probably is one of the many training or one of the interview that you're going to share with us. Okay.
Happy to come back.
Yeah. So I wish everyone have a great Sunday, no matter where you are. And then we'll see you guys next week in our next interview. Bye for now.
Take care. Bye.
Bye, Di. Bye, Sally. Bye, everyone.